Hi everyone, this is Dr. Nitin Chhoda with Ignition Time and welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for being a viewer and subscriber. I have some important news alerts for you today, including some new executive orders, what's been happening as far as Trump is concerned, and also, more importantly, there was an argument today on CNBC between the anchor and the Republican governor of New Hampshire, Chris Sununu. And Chris Sununu was essentially pushing back on the idea that New Hampshire as a state takes more money than it gives, unlike the state of New York. Pretty interesting argument, a pretty interesting exchange. In fact, like I said, I would go so far as to call it an argument. But before we get into that, let's show you a tweet on your screen from President Biden, who said that yesterday he took the first of many steps towards building our nation back better, and he signed some executive orders. Let's take a look at this video clip from the Twitter feed of the President of the United States, and let's check it out real quick.
Some of the executive actions I'm going to be signing today are going to help change the course of the COVID crisis. We're going to combat climate change in a way that we haven't done so far, and advance racial equity and support other underserved communities. We're going to rebuild our economy as well. And these are just all starting points. These are just executive actions. They are important, but we're going to need legislation for a lot of the things we're going to do. And the first order I'm going to be signing here relates to COVID, and it's requiring, as I said all along, where I have authority, mandating masks be worn, social distancing be kept on federal property, on interstate commerce, etc. So this is the first one I'm signing. And the second one I'm signing here is the support for underserved communities, and we're going to make sure we have some bedrock equity, equality as it relates to how we treat people in healthcare and other things. And we'll give you copies of these executive orders. And the third one I'm going to sign, and that's what I'm going to do while you're all here, is the commitment I made that we're going to rejoin the Paris Climate Accord as of today.
And it does look like the impeachment is happening. In other news, you'll see this tweet on your screen from Jake Sherman over at Punchbowl News. On a Republican call today, McConnell said he will propose an impeachment trial framework to Schumer. So things are happening pretty quickly, everyone. Speaking of things happening very quickly and trying to get our economy back on track, the Transportation Secretary nominee Pete Buttigieg said that more mask restrictions are likely coming on, I quote, all modes of transportation, which means we could see a federal mandate that you have to wear masks when getting on a train, when getting on a plane. Those kinds of directives seem to be coming. And as I'm recording this video, President Biden finished his address to the nation talking about their plan to combat this horrific pandemic. And President Biden said that we didn't get into this mess overnight, and it's going to take months for us to turn things around. And to a nation waiting for action, let me be the clearest on this point. Help is on the way. Let's take a look at this segment with President Biden.
So, I understand the despair and frustration of so many Americans and how they're feeling. I understand why many governors, mayors, county officials, tribal leaders feel like they're left on their own without a clear national plan to get them through the crisis. Let me be very clear. Things are going to continue to get worse before they get better. The memorial we held 2 nights ago will not be our last one, unfortunately. The death toll will likely top 500,000 next month. The cases will continue to mount. We didn't get into this mess overnight, and it's going to take months for us to turn things around. But let me be equally clear. We will get through this. We will defeat this pandemic. And to a nation waiting for action, let me be the clearest on this point. Help is on the way. Today, I am unveiling a national strategy on COVID-19 and executive actions to beat this pandemic. This plan reflects the ideas I set forward during the campaign and further refined over the past 3 months. It consists of my transitions teams, the task force, Tony Fauci and the team here today and other experts put this plan together. Our national strategy is comprehensive. It's based on science, not politics. It's based on truth, not denial. and its detail.
And speaking of help on the way, this is a very, very significant tweet on your screen from Jeff Steiner at the Washington Post. Janet Yellen said, and we're quoting Janet Yellen here, designing and implementing a modern and effective system of automatic stabilizers is an important step to take now. Now, I'll tell you why this is so important. Imagine a future in which, let's say, a state has high unemployment or a state has some sort of a local catastrophe, let's say a hurricane or any kind of local problem that's specific to the state. Now, if the unemployment level in that state goes above a certain level, in other words, if they're facing major problems, shutdowns, anything that impacts the economy of the state, then automatic stabilizers would kick in and everything would be determined by math, by numbers. So if the unemployment rate goes up, then federal assistance, stimulus checks, unemployment benefits, some form of direct assistance, some sort of consistent basic income coming to that state would happen automatically. That is the concept of the automatic stabilizer. If this happens, there is no need for the House and the Senate to convene. There's no need for guys like Chris Sununu, the New Hampshire governor, who you're about to see. Pretty surprising, his argument. He wasn't even able to make an argument. In my opinion, he just kept rambling on. We wouldn't see a politician saying, oh, it's this state versus that state, red state versus blue states. Because I believe for us, it shouldn't be about the red or the blue. It should be about the red, white, and blue. We're not Democrats. We're not Republicans. We are Americans first. And that's what it should all be about. But again, if the concept of automatic stabilizers, which is something that Janet Yellen is proposing, a highly respected figure on both sides of the aisle by both Democrats as well as Republicans, this will prevent any negotiations between the House and the Senate. This will prevent the president from having to get involved. This will prevent the entire mess that we had in the months leading up to the election. And also, like I said, guys like New Hampshire governor, Republican governor Chris Sununu are not going to go on TV just rambling on and making no sense whatsoever. What you're about to see is a very important news clip featuring the New Hampshire governor Chris Sununu and the CNBC host. But before I show you that clip, there is one more piece of breaking news for you, and that breaking news is on your screen right here. Maggie Haberman is responding to Jake Sherman's tweet. Jake Sherman's with Punchbowl News, and Maggie Haberman is with the New York Times. And this confirmed what Lindsey Graham said on the call. Other lawyers of Donald Trump had actually backed out, and so Trump has an impeachment lawyer. And this impeachment lawyer is Butch Bowers of South Carolina. So it looks like Trump is actually gearing up here. Speaking of gearing up, let's take a look at this intense discussion, this argument, if you will, between the CNBC host and the New Hampshire governor, Chris Sununu, who was essentially confronted with the fact that, hey, if New Hampshire takes more money than it gives, but New York, on the other hand, gives more money than it takes because, it pays so much money to the federal government by way of taxes, why are you against assistance for those in New York, for those who are the most vulnerable? And judge for yourself whether Sununu was able to provide an answer or he just kept deflecting and then kept dancing around the question. I want you to be the judge for yourself. This is a passionate exchange. Let's roll the tape and listen.
Governor, I was struck by something you said earlier, and I'm a New Yorker, so I took offense. So I wanted to just ask you, why didn't you just take a shot at the governor of New York for asking for money at a time when clearly New York has been harder hit than, for example, your own state? You talk about trying to help those that are in need. Clearly, the state of New York has been affected by this in a way that yours has not. And at the same time, I would suggest to you that New York is a quote unquote giver in terms of federal taxes to the system, and your own state is a taker.
Look, somebody has to pay for that $15 billion that he's coming with his handout for. Good management and good metrics and
New York has been paying for your handout every.
Hold on, why should I pay his bill?
Governor, New York has been paying your bills. Is the point? The point is that New York has been paying your bills for years. So look, it makes no sense.
So but the issue I have is actually for New Yorkers. The citizens of New York pay 60-70% more in taxes than the citizens of New Hampshire. And guess what? They're leaving New York in droves. The businesses, their families, they're all coming to places like New Hampshire. And if the only answer for your governor is to say, I'm coming with my handout, give me $15 billion or else I'll raise taxes, to give that type of threat on behalf of his own citizens, what he's going to do to his citizens if Joe Biden doesn't help him out, that's not leadership. That's not leadership. That's pathetic. And he has to be held accountable for it because guess what? I got to pay it and you got to pay it. And the rest of the country has to pay his bill.
Governor,
I'm not asking the rest of the country to pay my bill.
With respect, with respect, the state of New Hampshire has had its hand out for years. You've been
On what?
taking money
What?
from states
Tell me
like New York
where-
and California for years. And I would suggest to you that recommending what the governor of New York should be doing. Look, there's lots of challenges in the state of New York, but in the giver and taker situation, I think it's clear, it's empirical, who's giving and who's taking.
I don't want a penny out of the federal government to replace my revenues. He's demanding $15 billion. He's demanding 15 times the
you
mega,
take
the
federal
megabucks
money
constantly
constantly more than you give to the government. I mean,
how are we taking more? What are you basing that on? What are you basing that on? How are we taking more from the federal government? What do you
look
base
at
that
the federal tax receipts coming out of the state of New Hampshire versus the amount of federal money coming into the state of New Hampshire.
Okay, but again, this is about what he's doing to the citizens of New York. And they should be outraged. They should be furious that he cannot manage, like most of the other governors have done. I'm cutting taxes in this state. I'm creating opportunity because it's not about bigger government. It's not about bigger systems. It's about giving efficiency to the system so they can provide the services that are needed at a fundamental level and letting people have that economic freedom. And that way the whole system rises. He's missed the boat completely on that.
That's it, everybody. Let me know what you thought of these breaking news alerts in the comment section below. You'll get a link to all of our resources in the description section below. Let me know what you think of these rather interesting comments from Chris Sununu, who just kept going on and on about, one state versus the other. Whereas, counter arguments can be made that one state pays more than the other. For me, honestly, I don't even want to discuss that because I believe it should be about all of us helping each other and trying to prevent mismanagement of money. We should be talking about the mismanagement of money and not one state versus the other, which is what certain politicians are doing. And there's a reason for that, because there is one figure who kept saying that stimulus should not bail out poorly run democratic states, poorly run blue states, and that seems to have made its way into the ether, if you will, with other politicians who are now latching onto that as a talking point. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. My name is Dr. Nitin Chhoda with Ignition Time. If you don't know anything about me, check out some information about me. You'll learn more about who I am, what my journey has been like, and why you should listen to me. I am a proud patriot. I'm a proud citizen of this beautiful country. For me, it's not about the red or the blue. It's about the red, white, and blue. I'm not Democrat. I'm not Republican. I'm American. I encourage you to subscribe to our channel. Please click subscribe. Please enable notifications. And please ignite that like button, because the name of our channel is Ignition Time. We release videos every day, and we release important content about the country, about the economy, and about your money. You can also follow us on Instagram. Our Instagram handle is ignition_time. That's ignition_time. And you can also follow us on Twitter. Our Twitter handle is also ignition_time. In fact, here's my Twitter feed. I encourage you to follow me on Twitter because you'll learn in real time what I'm reading. I retweet, and you'll be able to essentially read and follow news stories side by side with me. So I encourage you to follow me on Twitter. Now, I encourage you to also comment below, because one of the incredible things about our community is that our community is growing, it's bipartisan, it's respectful. So please comment below. You might make some new friends. Also, please share this video with just 2 friends or family members, just 2 friends or family members. I'd really appreciate that. We always include a link in the description section below to all our resources, multiple links at times, so you can always follow those news stories on your own. Once again, please click like, please subscribe, please enable notifications. I would greatly appreciate that. Thank you so much for watching. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next episode of Ignition Time.